Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and it is Monday. Monday means a couple of things. It means Deckmaster Monday. We already got that out of the way. It also means I'm going to share with you guys one of my favorite Magic the Gathering decks this time. So this is something I called Elf-Drazi because, like, when we revisited the Zendikar block, and this is built for the block format, um, at least for that time period. What I found was like the Eldrazi were actually able to like do some crazy ramp and then play some like fantastically huge characters. So again, like always, it's like it should be a 60 card deck because that's basically where I lived back then. And this was 19 lands. So again, 15 of this is actually going to be full art forests because again, this was the norm for the set. So again, I love the way these look. But I was also playing Fertile Thickets. And for those of you who don't know, this enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, I can look at the top 5 of my library. If I do reveal a basic land from among them, place that at the top of my library. The rest to the bottom of the deck in any order. And additionally, it'll tap just like a forest, creating generic green. So again, I did run a playset of this. This brings my land count almost up to 20, brings it up to 19. But you'll see why we did that for this build. And again, it wasn't a bad decision. It was just a different decision. So moving into like all my creature spells, and boy, were there a ton of these. I'm separating right now. The darn thing's almost all creature spells. But it was that way for a reason. So the first thing I loved was I was playing 3 copies of the Bane of Bala Ged. Again, first, foremost, I love the way the Eldrazi look in this game. They're just sort of like Eldritch horrors without being Eldritch. And again, that might be part of their name, the Elf-Drazi. Nobody? Okay. Whenever this attacks, the defending player has to exile 2 permanents that they control, which is brilliant. It's a take. It's almost like a redo of the Annihilator effect that they had on the first Zendikar. And back then, I want to say there were just the 3. And I do not, for the life of me, remember their name. I'm going to look through the deck here real quick while I'm talking. Kozilek is one of them. I want to say Ulamog was one of them, and I can't remember the third. So if you guys can remember the third, let me know down there in the comment section. But this was pretty good. It was a 7/5 on 7, and it just starts banishing cards of their choice from their side of the field. And again, just allows you over the course of a few turns to generate just massive advantage. Next up, I did play 1 copy of the Birthing Hulk. This 5/4 is played on 7. It does have Devoid, so even though it has green here for the color identity, or the maybe that's, yeah, I think that's what actually it's called, is color identity. It is Devoid, so this card technically has no color. When this enters the battlefield, we get 2 1/1 colorless Scion tokens into play. And the Scions have sacrificed this, add colorless mana to the pool. And for 2 generic, one of them absolutely having to be generic, one having to be a colorless, we can regenerate this. So again, it was pretty cool. Definitely a fun character. We also wanted to run a playset of blister pods. Again, Devoid, even though they cast on green, so it does count as colorless. When these die, place a 1/1 Scion into play with the same effect of, well, destroy, kill it, add 1 colorless to the mana pool. So again, not too bad. Little 1/1 on 1 gets you on the board real quick. Breaker of Armies. This one was pretty darn cool. This 10/8 casts on 8. All creatures able to block it must do so. So again, if you send in like a bigger scouting party and he's like your big dude and you got like 4 or 5 other guys, everybody has to block this guy. The other ones are going to get through, so that's pretty good. 2 copies of the Brood Monitor. Again, casts on 6. This is a 3/3 with Devoid. When it enters the battlefield, place 3 colorless Scions onto the battlefield, and the Scions have the same Scion effect that they always do. So again, you are going to cast 4 characters in off this 1 spell. So definitely works with the math. Next up, we were running 2 copies Conduit of Ruin. Again, loving the art here. When you cast this, you may search your library for a colorless creature with converted cost 7+. Reveal, shuffle deck, place card on top. the first creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 generic less. So if I play one of these and then I, for some reason, let's pretend that this was also my next card, the next one would cast on 4, and then the turn after that, everything would be -4 because that effect will stack. So again, it does help play the larger characters. We are using 1 copy, Deceiver of Form, generic 7, but 1 will have to come from a Scion, as you can see. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, reveal the top card of the library. If a creature is revealed this way, you may have creatures you control other than Deceiver of Form become copies of that card until the end of the turn. You may put that card on the bottom of your library. So again, we can stack cards now. And again, the instance here would be we could stack with Conduit of Ruin. You could stack the Bane of Bala Ged. Bane of Bala Ged gets the Banish 2 on exile. And this would then show the Bane and then copy all of my cards to being copies of the Bane. Which then again, if you've got like 6 or 7 of these things because of the Scions, then you have 6 or 7 Banes of Bala Ged, at which point you're going to be taking out 12 to 14 permanents just through attacking this turn. So again, kind of nasty, kind of amazing. We're also going to run a copy of the Desolation Twin. It is a... Ooh, that's not focusing. It is a 10-10 on 10. When you cast this, you place a 10-10 colorless Elf-Drazi token onto the battlefield next to it. So you are going to get 2 of them. So essentially, you're paying 5 each. But you're going to get 2 10-10s, which again, if you get the guy running the interference, which was the Breaker of Armies. If Breaker of Armies happens to be on the field, and we go ahead, we play the Desolation Twin as well, we can actually win because that's 20 damage when those Desolation Twins hit. So pretty nasty stuff. We're also going to need 3 copies of the Eyeless Watcher. Cast on 4, does have Devoid. When enters play, 2 colorless Scions with the same effect that they've had all day. So again, that was going to help us build up the army. Kozilek's Channeler. And this is important, my friends. So this is a generic 5. It is going to be 4/4. But this is going to tap create generic 2. So everything that's casting on a generic symbol will benefit from having this. I don't know why I didn't have 4. It made sense at the time, I guess. They're probably in another build something. 1 copy, Reality Smasher. Again, this thing just looks... I'm going to bring this up a little closer. This thing just looks amazing. Focus. Camera focus. There we go. Again, it's going to cast on 5. It is a 5/5. It will have Trample Haste. Whenever Reality Smasher becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, counter the spell unless it's a controller chooses to discard a card. So again, this gets pretty tough to fight up against. Just a good card in general. Since we were able to use just everything, we can still use some Rot Shamblers. These are going to be 1/1s on 2. Whenever another creature we control dies, these get a 1/1 counter. Again, sacrificing all of our Scions should count. So again, these guys will get pretty big pretty quick. We're also going to use 3 copies of the Scion Summoner. And I guess this wasn't block build because I do have a Tarkir card in my hand. The Scion Summoner is a 2/2 on 3 with Devoid. Enters play, places a 1/1 Scion in play that has the mana creation effect. And then I was running the Whisperer of the Wilds. And again, this is from the Tarkir block. I don't remember if this is Fates Reforged, maybe. Generic tap to create green mana. Ferocious, we can create 2 green mana instead, as long as we control a creature with a power of 4 or greater. And the Elf-Drazi are going to almost always fit that bill. Moving into like the generic spells, the instants, sorceries, and possible enchantments. We are going to use 2 copies of Titan's Presence. Titan's Presence, it again does reference Ulamog. So between that and Kozilek, like I kind of got those 2. I just don't remember the 3rd one. As an additional cost to casting this, reveal a colorless creature card. This is why Devoid is so helpful. Exile target creature if its power is less than or equal to the revealed card's power. Again, they're all pretty massive, so it helps. We're going to use a full playset called the Scions. This is going to cast on 3. Does have Devoid, so even as a spell, as a sorcery, this is going to be considered like an Elf-Drazi spell because it will be colorless. And the effect here is to put 2 colorless Scions in play. So again, good stuff. We're going to be using 2 copies of Nisa's Pilgrimage. So I'm guessing this was a Type 2 deck at one point because that's a core set. Search library for up to 2 basic forest. Reveal, put 1 on the battlefield tapped, the rest into hand. Spell Mastery, if there are 2 or more instant and or sorceries in the graveyard. Search library for up to 3 instead of 2. So again, just helps us mitigate costs by getting to our land faster. And then the last spell, the enchantment that we love, is going to be From Beyond. Again, going to have Devoid as it is for the Elf-Drazi. Cast on 4. At the beginning of your upkeep, place a 1/1 Scion token into play with the same effect it's had all deck. For 2 mana plus sack, search library for any Elf-Drazi card, reveal, place in hand, shuffle library. So again, we didn't exactly need to play everything at 4-ofs. This probably would have been better as a 4-of, but it is what it is. It's a pretty fun deck. Again, we jokingly used to call this the Elf-Drazi. And again, just shows how much I love the color green when it comes to Magic. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. We do have the Mayakashi deck up tomorrow. That should be pretty fun. I'll film that one later today, actually, because I got these done on the weekend, but I didn't do enough for the whole week. So, oh well. You guys do me one favor, and one favor only, because I'm not going to bother you with the other stuff. Go out there, have an excellent day, get a good start to this week, and I hope to see you guys again next time. Later.